As of mid-2025, the landscape of global trade wars and their impact on U.S. manufacturing remains highly dynamic and largely challenging. While the intent behind increased tariffs is often to boost domestic production and employment, the reality is proving to be more complex and, in many cases, detrimental. Recent policy shifts, including a series of significant tariff increases targeting major trading partners like Canada, China, and Mexico, have further intensified the trade environment. These measures have led to a substantial rise in effective tariff rates on U.S. imports, with some estimates reaching nearly 38% under various scenarios. For U.S. manufacturers, this translates into several key impacts. Increased costs. Tariffs on imported raw materials and components continue to drive up production costs, squeezing profit margins for businesses and potentially leading to higher prices for consumers. Supply chain disruption. The ongoing uncertainty and imposition of tariffs are causing significant disruption to global supply chains, forcing companies to reevaluate sourcing strategies and potentially seek alternative suppliers to reroute trade, often at a higher cost. Mixed employment effects. While some specific sectors may experience a temporary uptick in employment due to reduced foreign competition, overall manufacturing employment is facing a mixed outlook. Job gains in protected industries are often offset by losses in other manufacturing sectors due to elevated input costs and reduced export opportunities from retaliatory tariffs. Reduced competitiveness. U.S. manufacturers that rely on exports are facing challenges due to retaliatory tariffs from other countries, leading to decreased demand for their products in international markets. Uncertainty in investment. The unpredictable nature of trade policies discourages long-term investment in U.S. manufacturing facilities and operations, as businesses find it difficult to forecast costs and plan for the future. In essence, the current state of global trade wars continues to create an unstable and costly environment for U.S. manufacturing, with widespread implications for economic growth, employment, and the overall competitiveness of American industries. The ongoing global trade wars continue to exert significant pressure on U.S. manufacturing, with a range of impacts observed as of mid-2025. Far from a clear-cut victory for domestic industries, the consequences are proving to be complex and often negative for the sector as a whole. A primary impact is the escalation of production costs. U.S. manufacturers, many of whom are deeply integrated into global supply chains, face higher expenses for imported raw materials and intermediate goods due to tariffs. This directly erodes profit margins and can lead to higher prices for consumers, dampening demand. For instance, recent analyses suggest average effective tariff rates on U.S. imports have risen considerably, significantly impacting consumer prices for goods like apparel, footwear, and motor vehicles. Supply chain disruptions are also a persistent issue. The unpredictable nature of tariffs and retaliatory measures compels businesses to rethink their global sourcing, often leading to costly and complex reconfigurations. While some companies explore China Plus One strategies by diversifying production to other countries like Vietnam, this shift introduces new logistical challenges and can delay product delivery. The impact on employment within U.S. manufacturing is mixed. While certain protected sectors, such as steel and aluminum, might see a temporary increase in jobs, this is often offset by job losses in other manufacturing areas due to increased input costs and reduced export competitiveness. Overall, studies indicate a potential decline in aggregate U.S. real GDP and a rise in the unemployment rate due to the broad application of tariffs. Furthermore, reduced export competitiveness is a significant concern. Retaliatory tariffs from trading partners make U.S. manufactured goods more expensive and less attractive in international markets, leading to decreased demand and market share for American exporters. This also discourages foreign investment in the U.S. In essence, while the stated aim of trade protectionism is to bolster domestic manufacturing, the current impacts are largely characterized by increased costs, supply chain instability, and a generally challenging environment for the U.S. manufacturing sector. The global trade wars continue to cast a long shadow over U.S. manufacturing, leading to a cascade of negative consequences as of mid-2025. These impacts extend beyond immediate financial strains to broader structural shifts. A significant consequence is eroded profitability for many U.S. manufacturers. Increased tariffs on imported raw materials and components act as a direct tax, raising production costs. While some costs are passed on to consumers, leading to higher prices for everything from apparel to motor vehicles, manufacturers often absorb a portion, which cuts into their margins. Secondly, intensified supply chain fragility is a major outcome. Companies are scrambling to diversify their sourcing away from heavily tariffed countries, primarily China, often adopting China Plus One strategies. While this might build long-term resilience, the immediate consequence is increased complexity, higher logistical costs, and potential delays as new supply routes and partnerships are established. This uncertainty discourages efficient, just-in-time inventory management. Thirdly, the trade wars have had a mixed and often detrimental effect on employment. While certain sectors that receive direct protection, like steel, might see some job retention or modest gains, these are frequently outweighed by job losses in other manufacturing industries. This is due to the higher input costs from tariffs, reduced export demand from retaliatory tariffs, and the overall dampening effect on economic growth. Models suggest an overall decline in U.S. employment and real GDP as a result of these trade policies. Finally, the loss of international competitiveness is a growing concern. As U.S. products become more expensive due to tariffs and retaliatory measures, they lose their appeal in global markets. This not only impacts export volumes, but also discourages foreign direct investment into U.S. manufacturing, as the environment becomes less predictable and more costly for international businesses. The long-term consequence could be a diminished role for U.S. manufacturing in the global economy. Predictions. Looking ahead, the impact of global trade wars on U.S. manufacturing is likely to intensify and evolve in the coming years, 2025 to 2030. We can anticipate persistent cost pressures. Tariffs on critical inputs are unlikely to disappear entirely, meaning U.S. manufacturers will continue to grapple with elevated production costs. This could lead to a sustained shift towards domestic sourcing for some components, but for many, it will remain a cost burden. Accelerated supply chain restructuring. Businesses will continue to prioritize resilience over pure cost efficiency, leading to further diversification of supply chains. Friendshoring and nearshoring, for example, to Mexico, Canada, or Southeast Asian nations like Vietnam, will gain traction as companies seek to reduce dependency on single regions and minimize geopolitical risks. This will create new opportunities for some countries while further fragmenting global trade networks. Automation and technology adoption. To offset higher labor costs associated with reshoring or nearshoring, U.S. manufacturers will likely accelerate investments in automation, AI, and advanced manufacturing technologies. This could improve efficiency and competitiveness, but might not translate directly into a proportional increase in manufacturing jobs. Continued geopolitical influence. Trade policy will remain a tool of geopolitical strategy. Future tariff decisions may be less about pure economics and more about national security, technological dominance, or broader foreign policy objectives, creating ongoing uncertainty for manufacturers. Mixed economic outcomes. While some protected sectors might see temporary benefits, the broader U.S. economy is projected to experience a drag on real GDP and real wages due to the overall inefficiency created by tariffs. Solutions for U.S. manufacturing to navigate this turbulent environment. A multi-pronged approach is essential. Supply chain diversification and resilience. Companies must proactively identify vulnerabilities and diversify their supplier base, even if it means higher initial costs. Investing in regional supply networks and robust inventory management systems will be crucial. Innovation and R&D. Focusing on advanced manufacturing techniques, product redesign to use locally available materials, and investment in R&D will enhance competitiveness and reduce reliance on vulnerable foreign inputs. Strategic engagement with trade policy. While companies cannot control national policy, they can engage with policymakers to advocate for stable, predictable trade environments and provide insights on the practical impacts of tariffs. Pursuing product exclusions where available can also offer some relief. Leveraging technology. Adopting AI and machine learning for predictive analytics, real-time supply chain monitoring, and agile production planning can help manufacturers respond more quickly and effectively to trade shocks. Explore new markets. Manufacturers should actively seek out new export markets not heavily impacted by current trade disputes to diversify revenue streams and reduce reliance on traditional, now challenged markets. Focus on high-value manufacturing, emphasizing sectors that require specialized skills, advanced technology, and offer higher margins can help U.S. manufacturing remain competitive despite global trade tensions.